So I've been kind of out of the loop of all of the border crisis stuff, probably the past week. So I'm gonna check out today and yesterday and the day before's news. So apparently, there's been a standoff between the National Guard and who? The Border Patrol, I guess. Maybe the FBI. I don't know.
Texas and the White House are locked in a bitter standoff on the border. The administration demanding Texas reopen a border park to federal agents after the drowning deaths of 3 migrants. The White House blames Texas for those deaths, saying the state blocked agents from rescuing the woman and her 2.
Listen, those deaths wouldn't have happened if the border wasn't open. All right. So like, don't be blaming it on the people that are trying to close down the border and prevent things like this from happening.
Children, but a new DOJ court filing has disproved that narrative, revealing the migrants were already dead when the feds requested access. Meanwhile, Texas is holding firm and refusing to let the feds back in.
They don't tell us where they're sending people, where people are coming across. They don't tell us about criminal activity along the border. They don't tell us who they're letting in, whether it's terrorists or people that have committed crimes. They don't tell us where people are from. We have the obligation to control public lands in Texas. We're a sovereign state, and we plan on defending our borders.
More on this with Texas Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick. But first, let's go to Matt Finn. He's in Eagle Pass with the latest. Hi, Matt.
Good morning, Dana. Yesterday was the deadline the federal government gave to Texas to reopen this park back to Border Patrol agents. As it stands this morning, we have not seen Texas allow the federal government back into this park. And Texas DPS tells me that's because Texas feels it is just better at deterring migrants from crossing the river here into this park, because Texas feels the Biden administration wants an open border.
It feels that way? No, that is 100% what's happening.
We're trying to prevent illegal border crossing so that we don't see this loss of life. It's not normal. It's not humane for anyone to cross a river, including children. But it kind of contradicts what we're trying to do. And it really shows how the federal government is attacking Texas for trying to prevent that, because what they want to do, they want to keep the border open.
As part of Governor Abbott's emergency declaration, the state of Texas is also now arresting migrants who illegally cross into this park and this state. And we just want to tell you from our observation on the ground, that is a massive change in procedure in this park, because for nearly 3 years, leading all the way up to this past December, migrants have not only been able to freely cross the river into this park, sometimes they were ushered across the river by the United States and then processed by Border Patrol, which is part of the reason Texas says it kicked out Biden's border agents. Texas says Border Patrol was a magnet for illegal immigration because migrants were able to stand in Mexico and actually see other migrants who crossed and were being processed here in the park. However, Border Patrol argues being kicked out of the park reduces the ability for Texas and the federal government to respond to emergencies to save lives. And we want to briefly remind you why this.
Yeah, we got to let all of these people in that don't have jobs, don't have homes, when we already can't take care of our homeless population, and they're growing every day. So what do these people expect we're going to do about all these people? They're not going to be better off.
Particular park is such a battleground. Just last month, there was a historic surge of migrants that illegally crossed into this very property, overwhelming Border Patrol and the state of Texas and actually forcing the closure of legal ports of entry. Now, this morning, a much different scene as we're standing here. Texas has heavily fortified this park, put up razor wire all along the river, and we are seeing.
I bet if Xi Jinping wants to come visit the border and see what it looks like, they'll get it cleaned up in a day.
Texas National Guard actually push back migrants, saying do not enter here into the United States. Dana.
What a situation, Matt Finn. Thank you.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmer.
Yeah. Well, that's insane. I'm glad there's no actual fighting yet.
You got to give me a trespass.
So I watched a little bit of this video on Twitter, like maybe 2 minutes of it, and this is crazy. Who is this guy? Taylor Hansen on Tenant Media. That's like Tim Pool's group that him and a few other people made.
You got to give me a trespass warning
right now. That's your warning.
So guys, I am currently at the Migrant Center in San Antonio, Texas, where NGOs are facilitating human smuggling of migrants into America.
What is an NGO? Non-government organization? Yeah. Yeah.
If you look right here, you actually have a San Antonio Police Department car watching as a lookout, basically guarding this area. They're taking side contracts in relations to these NGOs actually being paid a significant amount to guard this area. And I'll walk down here just to show you this even more. They're in their official San Antonio PD uniforms to top it off, with their San Antonio PD cars as well. Just to give you a little background real quick. Are you guys on duty right now?
This is an extra job for us.
So are you being contracted by the NGOs then? Why did you tell them just to say no? So you guys are being contracted by the NGOs?
None of your business. No comment.
It's none of my business. You're San Antonio police, but you're being contracted and paid by NGOs. You're being paid time and a half?
No comment.
No comment? But you did confirm you're not on duty. This is a side job
No comment just means yes.
for you. So you are being paid by the NGOs. Do you think that's a conflict of interest at all?
Back up. What I tell you. Back up.
So you got San Antonio PD here being paid by the NGOs
Back up.
to essentially facilitate the human trafficking of illegal migrants into the country.
Outside the gate.
Can I ask you guys a question? These NGOs claim they're not paying for migrants' flights, but the migrants are saying the exact opposite. How this facility in specific works is if the migrants are held here for a certain amount.
I really want to know, like, what their mindset on this whole situation is. Like, do they actually see this as a good thing? Or are they just following orders for the paycheck? They're getting paid extra, no doubt. They have to be getting paid so much more than they earn regularly. Because they don't actually care. I know a lot of these cops that are like these guys. They don't care. They're just going to do whatever the higher ups say because it means they're going to get paid more in the future. Or now, a lot of times.
Of time without actually being released, then they claim that they can't pay. Ma'am, can I talk to you? Yeah, she doesn't want to hear it because she already knows. So why are you not investigating this for human smuggling? Because they're paying for these migrants' flights into cities into America. Because you're the police, so this is something that you should be investigating. They're lying about paying for migrants' flights, when in reality...
These aren't police, these are tyrants wearing police uniforms and being paid by the government to do things that are outside of police jurisdiction. They are a gang. They are a military gang.
They absolutely are paying for migrants' flights, and sometimes even double booking and then charging the federal government back. So they're scamming people. But why are you guys, as police officers, not looking into this? And instead, you're taking money from these NGOs and these affiliated organizations.
No comment.
No comment? Again? As police officers, you don't think that you in your official uniform is a conflict of interest at all?
No comment.
I wonder who these guys work for. Like, who's paying them? If it's a non-government organization.
And you got Lookout over here providing security as well?
No comment.
Why do you guys have San Antonio PD cars here while you're in your uniforms guarding a migrant facility that is engaging in human smuggling?
No comment.
No comment? So you have these two gentlemen up front helping human smugglers as they're on the police force in their official capacity, but taking money on a side gig. That's what he said earlier. So they're being paid by these NGOs, allowing human smuggling to happen when they should be investigating what is human smuggling into America? No comment on that either?
Nope.
No comment on anything tonight, huh? Do you think what you're doing is moral?
No comment.
No comment? You probably
No comment. That is the easiest question to answer. You should say yes. If you think that what you're doing is right, say yes. Any other answer means that you really just don't care. Like, this guy, his face just looks evil.
don't care it's moral because it pays good, right?
No comment.
No comment? What about you,
Just
sir? You haven't said
blank.
much other than telling him not to talk to me tonight. Do you think this is appropriate what you're doing? Can I get your guys' badge numbers?
Yeah.
What's your badge number?
2213.
2213. What about you, sir?
81.
But you said this is a side job, so who's paying you?
You didn't know that.
Why don't you know that?
You don't.
Why are you in San Antonio Police Department uniforms if you're off the clock?
So I looked it up, and a cop, while they're not on duty, has to return their uniform to the police department. So either they are breaking that, or that doesn't pertain to them specifically in this area. That might have pertained to some other area, but it said the entire United States when I looked it up. So either they're breaking that, or they're still being paid by the police or through the police department by someone paying the police department to pay them. So if that's the case, the entire police force is just compromised.
With your San Antonio PD cars here.
I don't need to answer that question.
You don't need to answer it?
No,
Why won't you answer it?
I don't need to.
You don't think it's a conflict of interest?
Who are you that-
I'm a reporter. I'm asking you.
I don't care who you are.
You don't care who I am?
I don't care who you are.
So you are being paid by the NGOs.
I don't care who you are.
So you have San Antonio
What I
PD
can
here.
tell you is, you need to get outside the gate.
San Antonio PD here being...
Ooh, threatening them with violence.
So you're not going to answer a question for me, but you're going to attempt to arrest me.
I didn't tell you to get you off the property. You're outside the gate. You can stand out there and record all you want to. Off the
So
property.
why are you in public uniforms? You guys are public officials. You work for the... You basically get paid by taxpayer dollars, but you're here off the clock being paid by NGOs that are facilitating human trafficking, correct?
I don't think it matters that it's private property if you're filming police breaking the law. Like, what if you're filming a drug smuggling operation on the property? Is that illegal? Can you not film there?
It's kind of weird how you're dodging this. It's a simple yes or no question.
I need to answer your question.
So you are.
I answer your question.
You're kind of answering my question by not answering my question. And considering I know you're already being paid by the NGOs, it seems even more suspicious that you're not willing to admit to it. Quite literally helping facilitate human smuggling
Outside the gate.
into America.
That's the gate right here. Outside. Huh? Is it a worker? Call them. Have them come out. Wait across the street.
So they're running security, making sure everyone has wristbands before they come in here. Insane.
I said outside the gate.
2213. Can I see your badge, sir?
No, I already told you what it was.
Will you show me your badge?
No,
Because I'm not really inclined to believe you with all the shady activity going on here.
not your problem.
I think this guy right here is terrified because he knows that the entire nation's going to see him now. Because he was just there getting paid. I don't think he really, he was don't know, don't care. Heard of the overtime, and he was all for it. And now there's a reporter here, and now he's burning inside because he really wants that money, because he really needs it. But this is a fucked up situation that he's found himself in.
How much are you getting paid to be here?
What I just tell you, man? Outside the gate.
Is it time and a half? You can get the official
Outside the
owners to
gate.
trespass me if you'd like.
Outside the gate.
You got to give me a warning.
No,
You got to give
I'm
me a
giving you
trespass
warning
warning.
right now. That's your warning.
All right. So, what San Antonio? What's your name? Mikkel Wayne. What a name. So, facilitating human smuggling of migrants into America. He's mad that I'm standing past this little line right here, but he's quite literally helping human smugglers facilitate their illegal activities into America. Insane. Welcome to America in 2024, guys. So you've got a full-blown school bus and a shuttle bus, as well as this car right here acting as a back escort for them. Looks like they are going to be heading to San Antonio Airport for a pickup so they can return these migrants to this migrant resource center.
Wow, I didn't know he actually followed them.
They're gonna keep trying to fake you out, so
Yeah.
you know the way to the airport though.
Yes.
Yeah, so this bus just barely did a fake blinker move on us and attempted to fake swerve off of, oh, there's the shuttle right there actually. They just went and turned. So one turned the opposite way trying to get us to go a different area and miss where this bus is going. And then this bus attempted to get off an exit and then he hurried and swerved back, almost hitting the barrier. So they clearly do not want us following them, but we're obviously going to keep following these guys. We know exactly where they're going and what they're up to. Yep, see, parking right in between both officers.
This looks like an airport. Oh, those look like not people from this country.
Venezuela? See? How much are you guys being paid to do this? So you got a whole school bus dedicated to picking up illegal immigrants. So you have a pickup going on right now. They'll be taking us to the migrant resource center where we just followed them from. Hey ma'am, what NGO
This
are
is
you
human
with?
trafficking.
Are you with Endeavors or the Catholic Charity?
Because what are they being promised? Things that the government can't keep. So they're being lied to come over here thinking that they're going to have a better life, and then they're just going right back on the streets. Maybe some of them won't, but look at the odds and the statistics, man. Homelessness is growing rapidly, and these migrants are part of those homeless people. This is unsustainable, man.
Ma'am, what NGO are you with? So she's going in right now.
I think that if you work for the government, you don't have a right to remain silent unless it's like top secret military operations. This isn't a military operation. They're just paying regular people to be quiet, to not listen to reporters and stay away from reporters, because the money is just way more than what they make normally. And people like money. So they don't care. Don't care. And a lot of these people probably think they're doing a good thing. But they have no idea what this kind of thing does. Look back into the past. Look into history. What happens to countries that open their borders and let all kinds of people that have no idea what the culture is about come in? You have no culture. It becomes their culture, and then the country that you used to live in is no longer your country. All these people that are letting in these migrants, they don't live like these migrants. But if the migrants are everywhere, you will live like these migrants.
You see the bus is driving away. Pickup accomplished. This woman is helping the facilitation of illegal immigrants into America. That's crazy. And then SAPD just stands by and actually gives her an escort as well. Which we've seen, they're taking contracts as well from the NGOs as they're stationed at the Migrant Resource Center, so it's no surprise. Who are you with, man?
Are you with the airport?
Sir, if you need information, you can contact your public relations manager. You can take a picture of this
I'll take
and
a card.
contact. No, actually, you have to take a picture of it.
I have to take a picture of it?
Yes.
Okay.
What is that? Public Relations. Department of Human Services, straight up the DHS of San Antonio. And we all know that they're fucking an amazing government corporation. All right. Now I've got here from a few days ago. This is probably, I don't know when this was filmed, but Channel 5 with Andrew Callahan. He's one of my favorite channels to watch. Coverage for all kinds of events. And he went to the Arizona border. I'm gonna check it out.
Hola, mi nombre es Andrew Callahan y estás mirando Canal 5. Hoy estamos en la frontera, en una ciudad que se llama Gringo Pass, muy cerca a Mexico. I'm a gringo myself, trying to pass the time and figure out what the heck's going on. I've been hearing a lot about the border crisis.
The surge at the southern border.
10,000 migrants a day.
Border crisis this, border crisis that.
More barbed wire on the border.
The border, they say, is closed. It's not.
But as you can see, there's not diddly squat happening behind me. And that's all by design. A few weeks ago, Arizona decided to shut down this particular point of entry because it was being overflowed with migrants who were seeking asylum in the United States.
Derek, there is no traffic here.
However, I have a sweeping suspicion that despite this actual vehicular passageway being closed, there's still a lot of migrants nearby who are attempting to enter the U.S. using different means than a vehicle through an official port of entry. Let's go do some investigations.
I began my investigation by attempting to breach the east side of the port of entry, walking carefully through the Border Patrol parking lot with confidence and purpose to avoid suspicion. We see one of their helicopters fly by, but aside from that, there's absolutely no one around. Or so it seems. As I continue to walk, I notice a suspicious white box truck in the back corner of the parking lot. It appears to be blocking something, but I'm not sure what. In order to get around the
Is he just like sneaking into here?
truck without raising suspicions, I feign interest in a local stray dog, who
Or
I
do they
can
know
see
he's there?
frolicking in the distance behind the truck.
Oh, perrito, perro, amigo, ¿qué es tu nombre? Perro, ay, perrito, ¿tienes hambre? ¿Quieres una treat? Look.
As I suspected, there they were. Hundreds of migrants, seemingly of African origin, lined up against the border fence, hidden from the cameras by Border Patrol. Then, to my left, I see Spanish-speaking migrants, who were already being processed.
What's up? Hola. ¿Qué es tu nombre?
Roberto.
Mi nombre es Andrés. ¿Dónde eres?
De México.
¿Cómo fue tu vida en México?
Pues que por los carteles nos sacaron.
Sí.
Nos sacaron de las casas.
¿Qué ciudad de México vives?
En Veracruz.
Sí.
Sí, muy peligroso. Pues es que gobierna el cártel de Jalisco.
Sí.
Sí, pues te piden cuota y como si no tienes dinero, ¿de dónde les vas a dar?
Sí.
Y pues te sacan de tus casas.
Authorities in Veracruz have found 34 bodies wrapped in plastic bags in.
And if you're just letting people go over the border, you're also letting in these cartels. They can come in secretly. You don't know who's cartel and who's not. And they will meet up with people that are in the United States and keep doing the same things. Like, these people aren't getting away from the cartels, and now the cartels have all of their information and know where to find them.
Refrigerators.
The Navy says the suspects are part of the so-called New Generation Gang.
Somos el grupo Matacetas. Y estamos amenazados que no podemos regresar.
¿Y estás con tu familia aquí?
Sí, con mi esposa y mi niño.
¿Y qué quieres hacer en los Estados Unidos?
Pues quiero ir a trabajar.
Sí. ¿Qué tipo de trabajo prefieres?
Pues no sé, su tío de ella dice que me va a acomodar donde él trabaja.
¿Es tu primera vez aquí en los Estados Unidos?
Primera vez.
Sí.
Sí.
¿Y qué piensas?
Pues hay que ir a probar a ver
Sí.
cómo nos va.
Y ahora estás con la migra aquí.
See, that guy
¿Ellos
seems
van
like
a
that he's going to be
deportar o no?
one of them that
Pues
actually
no sé, creo que
works.
ya nos van a dar paso para adentro.
¿Hay una ciudad que piensas que vas a ir o?
Pues él está en Los Hills, California.
Sí. ¿Tienes familia en California?
Ajá, su tío de mi esposa.
Best of luck, man.
Sí.
Gracias. Sí.
Roberto's ultimate destination was Lost Hills, California, a small working-class town outside of Bakersfield, where the primary industries are pistachio.
You know what I think about this whole situation? I think both sides are terrible. I think the people that want them to just come across, no questions asked, I think they're wrong and evil. And I think the people that are trying to lock them out are also wrong and evil. And it's too late. It's broken. These people are coming. So what are we going to do? Just let the Democrats and the far leftists control them? We're going to have to take them in, man, because they share values with us, with the anarchists and the conservatives and the libertarians. That we share a lot of values. We just need them to realize that we're not bad for trying to lock them out. So we need to come up with something instead of just throwing them back into the fire that is Mexico. Need to figure something else out. Put them on an island. We've got a few of them we can put them on. Let's tell them to figure it out. There ain't no cartels here. And just run it.
Farming and oil field drilling.
Hola, ¿qué pasa, mi amigo? ¿De dónde eres? ¿De Sinaloa? ¿Puedes decir tu nombre?
Bien, Alberto.
Sí, ¿cuántos años tienes?
12.
¿Y qué piensas sobre los Estados Unidos?
No sé, quiero ir a estudiar allá, quiero cumplir mi sueño, estudiar, es mi sueño aquí en Estados Unidos.
Sí, ¿qué quieres estudiar?
Quiero estudiar ingeniero de la agricultura.
Sí.
En las parcelas, en eso de los riegos y todo.
Sí, ¿sabes inglés o no?
No.
¿Quieres aprender?
Sí.
Sí. ¿Cómo fue tu vida en Sinaloa?
Pues hay mucho movimiento de eso de las drogas y todo.
Sí.
Muy feo. Pues la droga, la violencia y todo eso.
Sí.
Yeah, well, there's not much of a difference here in the United States. All that stuff still goes on, probably about the same amount if you're in the cities.
¿Hoy es tu primera vez en los Estados Unidos?
Ajá, es mi primera vez.
¿Tienes miedo?
Sí.
Okay, todo está bien, mi amigo. Pretty much everybody we talked to said they're leaving because of like cartel-related reasons. Basically just saying that it's getting so hectic down there that they're just coming here. First dude wanted to work. The kid wants to study engineering and agricultural science. Obviously, as I just started to explain, they closed down this border officially on December 5th.
Yeah, everybody's got their dreams, but are they actually going to be able to fulfill them? Like, how many people do you know that fulfilled their dreams and are actually doing good in life and actually do good for the country?
To like cross
There's
traffic.
millions
So
of these
if
people.
you're going to Rocky Point to go vacation, you can't drive through Lukeville, you have to go through Nogales. And they did that because this small border town was being so overwhelmed by migrants. But as you can see, despite the fact that they actually closed the port of entry, there's still hundreds of migrants that are just waiting along the border wall right here.
I think we need to process them a lot better. Don't turn them away. We need to process them. At the same time, all of these benefits that we're giving to the migrants, we got to give to the regular people too. We can't just give benefits to the migrants and forget about all the people here that were already here just because they vote differently.
I want to go talk to them because
They all appear to be African. I mean, there's a chance they could be Haitian or, Afro-Colombian or something like that. But I've seen a lot of recent news stories suggesting that most of these people are from Senegal, Gambia, Guinea, and so forth. Which is really interesting, obviously, because those are insanely far countries from America. And I don't think Americans generally associate African nations with illegal immigration. I think typically they assume it's Mexicans and Central Americans fleeing narco violence or Venezuelans fleeing a regime change. And obviously we share a landmass with these countries to our south. So it makes perfect sense why they would come north when the standard of life is considerably higher. But for someone to make the journey from Africa into Latin America and then take this almost tri-continental journey up into the United States is particularly strange, especially given the fact that Europe is much closer. There's first world nations that are much closer to these African countries that have a better healthcare and education system than America. So what is it about America that makes them feel like this journey is worth it?
And also, what life do they expect here in America? Because obviously, as we've documented in the past couple months, there's a lot of really shitty stuff happening in America. The state of our inner cities is already pretty bad. And so I wonder almost if like the American dream propaganda that they're being fed by media or by their friends or family members, if that's actually true.
I think
100% that's what's happening. They're being fed a bunch of nonsense. Oh, the border's open. Oh, the American dream is alive. And it's not. Unless you're in like a small town.
America creates an atmosphere for people to achieve. So the American dream is just the ability to achieve. That's what it's about.
Like, is the American dream actually a reality for immigrants, or are they more likely to just face different types of hardships when they arrive? I don't know. Let's go talk to some people.
I wanted to talk to these African migrants, but because they were being deliberately safeguarded by Border Patrol, that seemed very difficult. They were essentially being held in what's like a demilitarized zone, a single lane patch of land between the port of entry and the actual border wall, which apparently American civilians cannot access unless authorized by personnel. Still, I drove 6 hours to get to this place, so I wasn't about to leave without at least trying to talk to them. Naturally, I began a westbound hike along the border wall, searching for a hole or an opening in the fence that would let me access where they were standing. Finally, I found a clearing in the fence and began my journey eastbound along the restricted pathway. Very quickly, I was apprehended by law enforcement.
Yeah. So the actual border road here is closed.
Okay.
To anybody except law enforcement traffic, just because sometimes BP needs to kind of hoof it on you.
Yeah,
You guys are welcome to take
bullshit. That's not why it's closed. They don't want reporters in here like him looking at all of the illegal nonsense they're doing.
pictures or whatever, from right here. Just get back to your car, do what you need to do.
Thanks, bro. Appreciate it. Thanks. Yeah.
Pretending that our car was in the direction of the migrants, we continued our mission. And predictably, we're stopped again.
Have you coming through here?
Okay. We're just trying to find a good place to do some interviews with migrants where we wouldn't get.
No, these gates are closed and locked.
Oh.
The border's closed.
You guys gotta go the other way.
Okay.
The border's closed, but I see these people coming over. If the border's closed, then how are these people getting in? I don't understand. So people are allowed to come in, but we're not allowed out? I'm starting to think that I need to get out. I'm feeling like they're trying to lock us in now with all, and just let in all these. I don't want to sound racist because this is just the term I'm going to use. I'm not being racist at all, but they're cockroaches coming in and infesting everything and making everything disgusting and dirty and not a place that I want to be. And then we're going to get bombed because the government realized, oh shit, we let all these bugs in and now they're everywhere.
Where do you guys think's a legal place to get interviews and stuff like that?
Parking lot.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Thanks. Have a good one.
Somewhat disheartened, we ended up back at the empty parking lot where this video began. It seemed that Border Patrol was running a tight ship and being directed to deliberately mislead journalists. Or perhaps maybe we picked the wrong place along the border to begin our coverage. So we figured it was time to pack up and leave town. Then, seemingly from out of nowhere, an off-duty law enforcement officer approached us in his car and told us that we were just 1 mile away from the largest secret migrant detention facility in Arizona, which is embedded inside a national park called the Oregon Pipe Cactus National Monument.
You turn on Palo Blanco Road, I believe it's called. And you go about a mile. It's conveniently hidden.
Literally thousands of people, and people from all over the world. What they do is when they come through the wall, they shed any type of ID. So you can find passports, currencies, driver's license, visas from Guinea, from Mauritania, Sierra Leone, Chad, Ghana, Egypt, Thailand, Nepal. It's phenomenal. You see discarded strollers, suitcases, day packs, purses, neck pillows.
We're about to see a bunch of factions start being created that have nothing to do with the United States from all of these different countries, and they're going to all want power. And it's about to get real weird.
I mean, these aren't the people that were crossing in years past that were just trying to get into California to make a living wage to send back home. This is a different demographic completely. Well, these are the guys bringing in the fentanyl. You know, it used to be the border crossers would get across the border one way or another, and then they had 20, 30, 40 miles to get up, 60 miles to I-8. It was very difficult and arduous. Now, no, the cartel makes it really easy for them. They simply step across the border and walk to the Border Patrol and claim asylum. I'm a pro-immigration person. We need immigration, but not this way. Not the way it's being done now, where no one has any idea of who these people are. It's just totally unsustainable.
What do you think's the right way to do it?
I wish I had an easy solution. I don't know, it seemed to me that Title 42 was working pretty well under a previous administration, which required people to claim asylum upon the first country they hit, rather than having it come right into America first.
So what is Title 42? The order started during the Trump administration. It allowed the government to turn away migrants to slow the spread of COVID-19.
The Trump-era health policy that allows authorities to immediately deport most migrants. When it ends, tens of thousands currently waiting in Mexico can apply for asylum. Authorities say they're preparing for a spike in migrant crossings, upwards of 10,000 per day.
How many people would you estimate are coming through?
But I would estimate certainly more than a couple thousand a day. But if you just run the numbers, with the numbers that we're seeing, if you even say 1% aren't the greatest people with the greatest intent, we're in danger. And it's being done to profit the cartels. Just using my own rudimentary math skills, I think they're making about $1 billion a month.
You know what happens when you get all of the people out of areas with cartels or militarized power? The only people left are the militarized power, and there are no people to rise up.
Smuggling people into the U.S. What they do is they saw cut the bollards in the wall, and they pull them back and then funnel people through. And then when they close that bollard, push it back onto where it was previously affixed, you can't see, except for, I mean, there's a, tiny little crack.
That guy looks like a member of Antifa. Obviously, he's part of a cartel, or he could even be part of the federal government. Who knows at this point? I don't know who that is. He kind of looks like a Fed, but cartels could look like Feds, but also dress like Antifa.
Previously affixed, you can't see, except for, I mean, there's a, tiny little crack where they saw cut it. So, and this happens all along that 12-mile section.
Midway through my interview with this man, I had a shocking revelation. This maybe, just maybe, was the same guy that I interviewed 5 years ago at the raid of Area 51.
What are your thoughts on the aliens, man? They're here. They're here. They're here right now. They're walking among us on two legs. Human-like. Oh, yeah.
Do you plan on raiding tonight, sir?
Oh, I've already been in.
What was in there?
They're in there. They're in there. Totally. Yes.
Well, anyways, man, thanks for the interview. Good luck. You're a brave soldier.
Thank you.
I didn't realize this until after I filmed the interview, but looking back, it actually makes sense. In both encounters, he's on the outskirts of federal land, claiming the government is hiding some crazy shit that he himself just saw.
5 guys in camouflage from head to toe, black masks, with the camouflage backpacks running as fast as they could.
Damn, that's a crazy situation. So for us as journalists, if we wanted to get the first-hand scoop of what's going on, you mentioned you felt like a processing center was the best place to check out.
Yes.
And that is over there.
I find it curious why it's hidden. Because logistically, it would seem to me to be much more efficient if they put it right up here on the highway. It seems like it was intentionally put 3/4 of a mile off the road so tax-paying citizens wouldn't see it.
You go in there right now?
Yes.
Can we follow you guys?
Sure.
All right, cool. I'll see you in a second, man.
Okay.
Thanks so much.
All right, so I guess we actually kind of are in the right place to find migrants to speak to. That dude that just pulled up and talked to us, he actually agreed to take us directly to the migrant processing center where everyone's being kept. He said that it's located like in a hidden location, 4 to 5 miles away from the state road that runs through this place. So we're just gonna follow his car and yeah, hopefully get some footage, guys.
To my surprise, my unbeknownst old friend was not bullshitting about the processing center. In the middle of the Sonoran Desert, hidden behind Border Patrol vehicles and makeshift tents, were hundreds upon hundreds of migrants, all of whom who hopped the U.S.-Mexico border within the past couple hours.
So they're just there?
It was a shocking sight to see. Hundreds upon hundreds of people from all around the world, herded like cattle on the cold desert floor, sitting in silence, awaiting an uncertain future. Despite these conditions, spirits are generally high, especially among children, many of who have been walking, hopping trains, hitching rides, and so forth for weeks and even months. Now, they've finally made it to the land.
All of these people are gonna have stories about the promises that were given to them, that were made to them from Americans. And then when they got here, it was great for a few months. And then the government ran out of resources because war broke out, and all of those promises are broken. And all of these people are left behind. Maybe 1 out of 10,000 people will do all right.
Hopping trains, hitching rides, and so forth for weeks and even months. Now, they've finally made it to the land of opportunity, a nation allegedly founded upon the principles of liberty and radical individuality, where anyone from any walk of life can make something out of themselves.
I guess they call them detainees. They've been walking on this road. This road runs for 12 miles, 12 or 13 miles. What it does is it parallels our border fence.
In our next episode, Migrant Detention Facility, we'll go undercover and speak with Border Patrol agents and migrants from across the world who are seeking asylum in the United States. We'll also follow a bus full of undocumented migrants and driven by ICE agents who pulled over and detained us after realizing they were being filmed. Like much of our content, this episode is available exclusively on our Patreon, www.patreon.com/channel5. As many of you know, Channel 5 is and has always been completely independent and supported and powered directly through your contribution.
Yeah, I understand, but like, that's some stuff that people actually need to see. Like, don't lock it behind a paywall. I'm gonna have to unsubscribe for that. Give it dislike. Because I mean, it was a good video, but like, don't hide the actual stuff behind a paywall when it comes to something like this. Disappointing. Oh well. Yeah, it's getting crazy here in the United States. I don't see how this is going to end peacefully. It's not like everything is just going to work out. Like, all of these things that are happening, they're going to fall apart. And I'll be out in the woods. Hopefully, nobody finds me. Good luck to everyone else.